Okay, well, thank you everybody for coming today. I hope this class will be worthwhile for you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Betty Lo Chen. I've been an OLLI member for about 7 years now. I think I joined January 2014. And I've been auditing classes since fall of 2015. The first class I audited was the beginning TAP class. There are a number of OLLI members who joined that, and we've taken it every semester since. It's a lot of fun dancing with the 18 and 19-year-olds. And then starting in fall of 2015, I started taking academic classes. I was a math computer science major, so the last history class I took was in high school. And so I've mainly been taking history classes, and I find taking the class is very worthwhile and a really great experience. I go in the class and tell the professor, I'm not going to take any tests. I'm not going to write any papers. I just want to sit and listen to your lectures. Sometimes I buy the book, sometimes I don't. And, you know, I get a lot of benefit out of it, just listening to the lectures. And I know there's some other people here today that also have audited classes. And after I go through the slides, you know, maybe we can hear from them and see what their experiences are. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. So today, this class is going to present a step-by-step instructions on how to sign up to audit classes. And it uses a lot of screenshots of the actual websites with annotations on what to do. So hopefully this will be an easy to follow instructions. After the class today, this course is being recorded and the video will be up on the website, and also these charts will be up on the website. So you don't need to take any notes right now. And then after I go through the slides, I'm going to actually go through, you know, a quote unquote live example. I'll actually go to the websites and click on the various areas that I need to. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to go to the OLLI website. And we all could have that bookmark, right? It's olli.fullerton.edu. And you want to click on the Auditing Classes link. And that will take you to this page, the Auditing Classes. And there's a lot of information on this page. You can go through it and read it. What it tells you on this page is basically what I'm going to show you today with the graphics. So if you're more of a person learning through reading, you can use the web page, this web page. And if you're more a visual person, these slides might help you. Okay, so the two links on this page that you can see is the catalog search and the schedule of classes. The catalog provides a description of all classes offered at Cal State Fullerton. They may not be presented, well, they certainly aren't all presented every semester, but it just gives you an idea of what classes are presented. And then to find out what is going on this coming semester, you would want to look at the schedule of classes. And it will list the class, the date or the day of the week, and the times. So first we're going to look at the schedule of classes, the catalog. And I myself don't actually use the catalog. So again, maybe some of the other OLLI members who use it can share their experiences. But there's a drop-down menu where it says Enter Catalog. And you can either sort by just the courses, by programs, or by the colleges or departments. In this case, we're just going to look at the entire catalog. And then you want to fill in the search button below it. And for this particular example that I'm using throughout these slides is to look for the beginning TAP class. Okay, so I'll type TAP in there. And the two TAP classes, Dance 142 and 242, show up there. So I can remember Dance 142, or if I did not go through the catalog first, I would just directly go to the schedule of classes. So we need to go back to the OLLI website, and Now we're going to look at the schedule of classes. And this is the screen that comes up. So the first thing you have to fill in is the term. And it's a drop-down menu. And you can see we need to select spring 2021 for this case. And then you go down to the subject. And there's a very long list of subjects. It's all the different majors and departments. And you can scroll through that. And again, for this particular case, I'm going to put in dance. Now, if you know the exact class number, you can fill it in, or you can leave it blank. An important thing to know is to uncheck the box next to the show open classes only. So if classes are closed for students to enroll, if you leave that checked, you will not be able to see them. But since we are just auditing classes, we can attend closed classes. So you want to be sure to uncheck that box. Then you need to go down to location and select Fullerton campus. This search engine has the requirement you have to have at least 2 fields filled in. And so we have the subject filled in and then the location. And you want to select Fullerton campus. Even though next semester it will all be on Zoom, you should still select Fullerton campus. And then lastly, you can put in a keyword. And again, since I'm searching for the TAP class, I'm going to put in TAP. So this is what the screen should look like. So you want to make sure you have these areas filled in. The subject, that you uncheck the show open classes only. You want to select the location as Fullerton campus and then put in your keyword. And then you can do a search. So this is what comes up for searching for the TAP. The 2 TAP classes that we saw in the catalog are shown here. And everything that is in the lavender boxes, you need to copy down to put on the audit form. I have an enlarged view of this on the next slide that we'll go through. What I wanted to mention here is if you do not see any classes you're interested in, you can modify the search. And I have the 2 asterisks on modify. It would take you back to the previous screen, and you could either change the keyword or change the subject or change both. Okay, and then do your search again. Okay, so this is the same screen with just enlarged. And so these are the different fields that you will need for the request form. So the first is the course number, dance 142, and the course name, the 5-digit class code, the section code, and it's a little bit cryptic, but the 01-ACT regular, I believe ACT is activity, but it doesn't matter, just copy it down exactly as you see it, the days and the times, and then on the far right is the instructor's email address. So you should write all this information down because it will be needed to fill in the request form. Now to get to the request form, you need to go back to the OLLI page and scroll down to item number 3, and you see the online OLLI auditing form. So select that, and this is what you'll get. You need to fill in all the fields that are in the tan color. And then the lavender boxes has the class information that you copied down from the schedule search. So you put in your name, the course number and name, the instructor's email address. Down below, you have your name. Are you a current member? You need your campus-wide ID, your phone number and email address. And I would recommend that you put in your Cal State Fullerton email address. And then you fill in, again, the course information, course number and name, the 5-digit class code, the section code, and the dates and times of your class. And then this is new this semester. If you scroll down, there is a place to sign the form, and you can just type in your name there. I'm going to go through an actual example, so you'll see this. But anyway, after you fill this completely in, a submit button will pop up. If you don't see the submit button, that means something was not filled in correctly. Either you forgot to fill it in, or it was not filled in the correct format. For instance, I was just playing around with it once, and for the CWID, because I think it's 9 digits, I just typed in 1 through 9, and it came back and said invalid ID. And I think like in the email address, if you don't have the @ sign in it, it will throw it out. So if you think you have filled it in correctly and you still do not see a submit button, then you can do the low-tech method and click on the download PDF file at the bottom. Print it out, fill it in, and go ask an OLLI friend to help you sign up. Or you can take it to the help sessions on Friday afternoon, and they can help you with that. After you have submitted it, the form goes directly to the OLLI office where they verify if you are a member or not, and then it is sent to the instructor. And if the instructor approves it, it goes to the campus IT people where they will set up the learning management systems for you. So after your request is accepted, currently professors are using Canvas and Titanium as repositories for their course information. They put in there the syllabus, maybe assignments, readings, it might be notes for the lectures, different things. And actually that is how the students submit their homework and tests. Both of them are still being used, and apparently they're trying to transition over to Canvas. If you have problems with either Canvas or Titanium, you should contact the IT help desk. Okay. After you submit the form, you don't need to call the OLLI office to see if they got your form, and you don't need to contact the instructor. It really will process through the system, and that's why we need to fill in everything online. Okay, so say you have been approved to take the class, and the campus IT people give you access to one of the learning management systems. You will get an email in your Cal State Fullerton email address. And this is the student portal, and I just want to show you where you can find Canvas or Titanium. Okay, so lastly, enjoy your class. I think it's a great experience. The professors are very happy to have OLLI members take their courses, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So I'm going to unshare my screen. And any questions? And you can all get off of mute now if you like. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
You have to have a campus email.
I believe you do. I think you have to with just even to get the campus-wide ID. Is that true? I'm not sure.
You don't get an email when you get your campus-wide ID assigned. You get an email when you choose your username and password. Whatever your username is, say mine is RHEARN. Your campus email would be rhearn@csu.fullerton.edu.
However, on the form, I've always used my home email, and I've never had a problem.
Yeah, Betty, I think that's okay. If you use your
Okay, I don't remember because I've used both, and I think one time I did put in my home email and I never got notified. But anyway, that's fine. Okay, so let's see. I'll just call out the hands that I see raised. Rick?
In the past, when the classes were meeting in physical classrooms, my impression is it was fairly common to have a class be physically full and to have to kind of hang out against the wall in the back for several weeks before you got approval from the professor. Is it now pretty much automatic that the professor will give approval?
Yes, so that is the only limitation really, is the number of seats in the class, for fire regulations. And I've only had that problem once. I went to the class the first day and there were probably a dozen students standing around the room and sitting on the floor. And I knew, if any student dropped the class, there were too many people waiting. So I just left. I didn't even talk to the professor. I have gone to other classes. There's maybe 2 or 3 people standing, and I'll just show up the second week. And by then, some people have dropped out. And you never know. A lot of students sign up for the class and they never come to class. They show up the first day, the day homework is due or a test is due, and the last day. So as long as there's a seat, the professors will usually let you stay.
2 questions. One, if I don't do the homework and I don't take the test, do I need to use titanium or Canvas?
Okay, well, you will get access to it, and I would go on and look, because that is where they post the curriculum. I'm taking a history class right now that is conducted asynchronously. That means the professor records the lectures and you go view them on your own time. So you have to get the lectures through that.
Is it the link to the class in Titanium or Canvas?
No.
How do you know?
How do you get the link?
I believe it is.
Yeah,
Betty,
sure.
could I weigh in on that?
Yeah, sure.
This is Irene. Well, the way you get your Canvas to Titanium is that you sign into the Cal State Fullerton portal and you have a username and password. And then you automatically get in there, and then you will see classes. You click on classes, and then Canvas and Titanium and a number of other choices will come up.
Right, but you actually you aren't given access as an individual. You are not given access to the class unless you have gotten permission. That does have to be done by the campus IT people.
No,
Yes, I agree. That's correct. I didn't know that was a question. I'm sorry.
No, but the point is, while all students are getting the link to their classes through either Titanium or Canvas. So you do need to go to your portal and pick up that information.
And one thing, every professor does it differently. Once you get into Canvas or Titanium, you cannot be timid. You have to just click around. The first day of class, the professor will go through the curriculum, and usually, or I shouldn't say usually, they might explain how they put things into Titanium, but they may not, and you just have to go in and click around. And you can kind of see, like one professor I have, he has folders called week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And another professor has all the course material in one folder, and he calls it 1-1, 1-2, 1-3 for the different weeks. You just have to kind of figure it out. And, the professors, at least the ones I've dealt with, are always, very nice and friendly. The class, when the week first started, he sent out an email and said, okay, I've posted all this stuff on Titanium. And I went in and I couldn't find it. And I asked him, and then he told me where it was. And so I didn't click around long enough.
Betty, we have a number of questions. I was wondering if you maybe should go through your live demonstration.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because could we maybe wait for these questions until Betty goes through the process real live? So I see some of the questions that are coming up in the chat really relate to that.
Yeah, if somebody just has a generic question, I think that I could answer that now. But if you just want more details on how to sign up, I'm going to go through all the websites.
Okay, Betty, just one question was, how do I retrieve my campus-wide ID? And that can be done through the OLLI office, correct, Joyce?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to share screen again. Okay, so this is the OLLI homepage. And so here's all the links. And so you go to Auditing Classes. And this is a long page. It's a lot of information on it. And like I said, if you want to read the instructions, you can go through here. The two important links that we're going to look at is this catalog search and the schedule of classes. So the catalog search, and as I said, I don't use the catalog. So the first time I went to look at this, I was thinking, okay, where do I click? And I'm moving my cursor all the way around. And is it this? No, it's not that. And then I finally figured out you have to scroll down. So is there somebody here that uses the catalog that wants to talk about how they use it? Anybody?
I think Susan Snell.
Don't use it.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I use it to just find out specific things about the class, like the prerequisites. If I'm trying to find an upper division class, I want to look at the prerequisites to see what the students will know, you know, what's expected of me to know before I take it. Things like that, but I rarely use it like you, Betty.
Okay, and actually that information is also on the in the scheduled classes. So anyway, so you know this is just showing you what was in the slide. So you click on this entire catalog, and you can filter it on these things. But we're just going to look at the entire catalog, and in the search bar, I'm going to type TAP. Okay, and then search. And then here are the two classes, okay? And what Susan was mentioning, if you tick.
Should she share screen? We can't see what you're doing.
I'm sorry, I didn't, Vicki, you didn't tell me.
It is shared. I see it.
No, it's not shared.
If you're on an iPad, excuse me. If you're on an iPad, click on the upper left corner of the screen and check to see that this is something that happens when we spotlight people, that the shared screen disappears. So if you're on an iPad, click on the upper left corner of the screen twice, and you should be able to see the shared screen.
Yeah, Joyce, that happened to me on my iPad just now, and I did have to click on the switch to shared screen button.
Okay.
Can everyone see now?
Is everybody okay now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you know, I put in TAP as the key word here, and here are the classes. As Susan mentioned, if you double click on the class, you'll see a description. And I understand that they used to put more information in here, but now it's basically just whatever is on the scheduled classes. So here's prerequisites and all that. Okay, so now we want to go back to the OLLI website, and you can either click back, or you can go directly to the site. And then now we want to look at the schedule of classes. And here is the search screen. So recall, the first thing we do is select the term. So it's spring 2021. And then the subject. And just so you can see, look, there's so many subjects. So I'm looking for dance. I could type in 141 or 142, whatever the number is, but I won't. And then remember, this is very important. Unclick this, show open classes. The location, go in the drop-down menu and click Fullerton Campus. And then the keyword again is TAP. Now, if I didn't put TAP in there, I would get all the dance classes. So I would get, as you can see, I don't type very well. You know, I would get ballet and jazz and hip hop or whatever else they teach. But since I know I want TAP, do the search. And here are the classes. And I have a blow up of this page on the next page that we'll go over in detail. But what I wanted to show you here, again, remember I mentioned the modify. So if you did the modify, you go back. And so I'll do this. So take out the TAP, just so you get an idea of what it looks like. And if you did another search, and you'll get this, do you want more than 50 classes? I say, okay. And you can see, so here's intro to dance, you know, ballet 1, modern dance 1, jazz 1, and so there's lots of classes. And then modify search. So just to give you an idea, like I said, I take a lot of history classes. Again, you still need the to fill in the location.
Betty, before you move on,
Yes.
you left the course number is exactly. If you click on that, you should see that drop-down menu.
Yes. So, okay, so
Oftentimes, yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
see. So if you want greater than, so say you don't want to take the beginning classes, so it's what, 300 maybe?
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
introductory is
Take
from
an upper
100 to
division
300.
class. Okay, so, and then do a search. And you still will get more than 50 classes. Okay. The upper division classes are better just in the sense that the students are more engaged and they really want to be there versus the GE classes. Okay, so we've copied, so yeah, so you've copied down all the information for the TAP class, and then you want to go back to the OLLI website. And I've gone through so many screens, I'm not going to do the back. I'm just going to go directly. I opened another link. Okay, so then scroll down to number 3, and here's the OLLI online auditing form. Okay, so you need to type in your name and the course number and name and the instructor email that you copied down from the scheduled classes. And then here, your name, you know, are you a member, all this stuff. Again, the course name and number, the 5-digit code, the section code is the 01-ACT, whatever, the date and times. And they just added a new thing this semester to sign. So I just wanted to show you. I don't know if anybody ever uses this, but so I did the draw, you know. Or you can just type in your name. So okay, and then I'll just close it. And then you should get the submit button, and it will go to the OLLI office. Okay, so let me unshare. Okay, so any questions now? Let's see.
Okay, Marietta has a question.
Marietta? Can't hear you.
Necessary to first get the instructor's permission, or is that done with all the submittal of the?
No, it's done automatically. So in the past, you would, you know, physically go to the class and take a piece of paper, and which looks like the audit form, and they would actually sign it. But now, since everything is online, they devised this, you know, automated system, if you will. So you just find your class and submit it. And I don't know if this is sanctioned or not, but I actually sign up sometimes for 2 classes because I'm not sure if, you know, maybe I don't like the professor. So, and then I just drop one. And since it's auditing, you know, the professors don't really care. You're not on their enrollment list or anything. So,
Actually, you are, but you don't need to have grades.
okay, maybe now with the automated system. In the past, with the paper ones, we were not.
Yeah, with the new system, the instructor is actually sent that form, the request form, once the office verifies that you're an OLLI member. And so some of you have gotten responses right away from the professor before you got responses from the EIP, which oversees this process that you've been okayed for taking a class.
Okay.
Carol Carson has a question.
Yeah, when does enrollment start and when does it end?
You can start enrolling now.
Right.
And actually, I don't think there, since we're auditing, there really is no end date. I mean, I strongly encourage you to go the first day because that's when the professor talks about, what they're going to cover. I mean, they talk a lot about, how they're going to grade, which we really don't care about, but they do give you an overall, the overall course and what's going to be covered and all that, and, the expectations. But you can, join a class late. I mean, again, we're auditing, so it doesn't really matter.
There, we have a
Students
question.
actually started registering a couple of months ago. So it's
Yeah.
been open all this time.
Right, we have a question on how to purchase books or materials for the class.
So that the professor will cover it in the syllabus, and go on Amazon or whatever. I mean, this one class I took, the book was kind of what should I say? It's not a very often read book, and so he gave us a website, and we got a little bit of a discount. Some professors do not have books. I've taken classes where they post online all of the reading material, and either they extract something from a published type book, or else they just have their notes and they put it up there. So every professor's different.
I wonder if Susan Snell could share her experience. Last time she told me about something that was new to me. Susan, could you tell her about the choices you had for that economics class?
Yes, when I registered for micro econ this semester, I had three choices. I could either just audit the class, I could buy for $99, I could rent the book for 6 months. I could then, for a little bit more, I could buy the hardback, buy a 3-hole punch version of the book and put it in my own binder. And it was a lot less actually than I could have bought the book alone. So I got access to the class versus, what it would cost me to buy the book off of Amazon. There are other sites. There used to be a little Professor bookstore, across the way on Placentia Avenue. I think that's gone now. But, look in before you buy the book, go to the first class for sure, but look and see, there may be some options within Canvas and within the class for different levels of the book purchase.
Yeah, and I think the professor, if they know of any little tips, they do give them to you.
Right.
And again, if I don't plan to read the book, I don't buy the book. So I've only bought the book for maybe 2 or 3 classes, and the other ones I just listen to the lectures, or the professor provided reading material. So yeah, Vicki, if you could read any online questions.
Yeah, we have from, I'm sorry, I forget, I lost who it's from, but had difficulty getting into the class and had to email the professor directly before getting into the system, which took about 3 weeks. So I don't know if there's a quick way around.
They ironed out the kinks, because I seem to have some delay too when I signed up for a class. This is the first time I believe that we're using the online. This past semester was this online registration, and I had a delay too.
And remember, in the fall, Cal State Fullerton classes begin about 2 weeks before OLLI does. So there was a delay this year too, and getting this new system up. But the spring is a great time to do this because we're starting ahead of them. Okay, so
Cheryl?
Carol? Yeah.
I just wanted to add with regard to books, sometimes it's considerably cheaper to buy an older edition. And because we're auditing the class, it doesn't really matter whether we have the most up-to-date version of the book. As we know, when we used to go to school, they would change the edition every year, and the changes were very, very small, but you would have to pay an enormous amount to get the most recent edition. So I found that it's really easier to get a slightly older edition. For example, I took Renaissance art this semester, and you know, that's a field that's not going to change a lot. So so I was able to get an older edition of the book, which is a beautiful book with beautiful illustrations, and I'm not sure exactly what the newest edition would have added. So just a tip.
Yes. Okay. Good idea. Jim Monroe.
Yeah, a couple of questions. I think what you said is we probably want to look at upper division classes would be for auditing, is what the impression I had. They would, so I'd look for 300 classes.
Yeah, that's described on the OLLI website. You know, you are limiting, you know, it just depends what subject you want. I mean, if you're open to anything. The undergraduate, the lower division ones, they tend to be, you know, very broad survey. So it's like Europe from, you know, ancient times to 18 or 1700s and the 1700s to present. So it's, and then if you want something, a narrower field, you know, there's upper division classes like specifically for World War I or World War II.
Got it. Is there grad courses an option, or is it for auditing, or not a good idea?
I'll tell you some things. Some of the grad courses may not be all that available to you because they're oftentimes, you'll see, they're like research classes that the professor is dealing with a master's student, you know, one-on-one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, the introductory courses for OLLI members may be sufficient because you oftentimes are going to go a new area that is not your area of expertise, and you want to have that background.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
you know, like Betty, I don't want to take a technical course. I had 50 years of that. So
yeah,
I would probably go to history or poli-sci.
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
So even in the course catalog, sometimes it will say, you know, and especially pre-COVID, it would say like there's no time, it'll be TBA, and the description will say, you know, self-study or something like that. So, you know, I don't go to those. Right. I'll tell you, I did sign up for a class, and I went in, you know, the first day and told my usual story, you know, I'm not going to do a test or writing or, you know, reading, that kind of thing. And he said, well, I don't know if this is going to work for you because I do assign a lot of reading. And then they discussed the reading in class. And I stayed for 3 weeks, and then I did drop out because, you know, I didn't know what they were talking about. And he divided the classroom up into smaller groups and had the students discussing. And, you know, I had nothing to contribute because I didn't know anything about the subject. So
simple question. For titanium and Canvas, do we have to download software, or does it just happen that's what they're using?
No, you don't have to download anything.
Okay, just go there. Okay.
Yeah, you just go there. But, you know, like I said, you do have to be willing to click around and look for stuff.
Right, understand.
Okay, anything else? Debbie, Brittenham, do you have a question? I see I don't know if it's just you're having problems with your monitor.
She's made several comments about, she's apparently a seasoned
yeah.
auditor. Yeah,
I've taken about 20 classes, audited about 20 classes. So I've just put some comments in there in chat. I don't have a question. I did have a great deal of difficulty this semester in signing up. It was almost 3 weeks before I got in. I did end up emailing the professors directly and asking for their approval. I know they don't want you to do it.
Right.
But I had already gone through every other possible channel numerous times, and nothing ever happened. So I did finally do it, and they right away answered me, because if you're not approved, you can't get in the class, and you can't get the syllabus, and you can't hear the lectures. So it's not like when we were face-to-face, where you just walked in and you could listen to the lecture, even though you didn't get in titanium for a while. But now you have to be in titanium to see the Zoom. You can't get the Zoom link otherwise.
Could I make a point here? Those of you, if you have trouble getting into a class and it's because of the sign-up system, please contact the OLLI office first, Michelle especially, instead of going directly to the faculty member, because we don't want OLLI to become, you can imagine 50 of you start bombarding the faculty. We don't want that to become a burden for the instructors. So if I could interject here, that if you have a problem, please contact the office first.
I did have one comment. I put it in the chat. I've taken every level class. I was a history teacher before I retired, but I've taken a number of 100 level classes, and you tend to get more lecture and less interaction, which is fine with me, which is something I like. I've also taken more than one of the same. I've taken the same class 2 or sometimes 3 times if it's a different professor. It's just
Professors, yes. Yes,
really
I have thought about doing that.
yeah. So I would not discourage people from taking 100 level classes, but I take history and art history, so that may just apply to my subjects.
Campus ID number, where do I get it?
You need to call the OLLI office.
I really hope everybody is encouraged to try something, because I think it's a great benefit.
Maybe if you can have some of the people who have been auditing talk a little bit about class etiquette as a OLLI auditor, so that we're not making ourselves a pest in the class.
I will say something about that. I try to be very low keyed. I try not to raise my hands until all the other students have had a chance to answer, because it's not about me answering questions, it's about the students learning. So yeah,
right.
Professors are really very gracious, and they really do like having us in there. So
yeah, they appreciate it. And so same thing, if the professor asks something, I'll see, wait to everybody, or if anyone is going to answer, and then I'll answer. Sometimes if there's several answers and I have something to add, I'll throw that in. I have made comments like, the professor wanted to, the students had to write a paper, and he wanted them to come up and just give a short summary of their paper. And some of them were, not very happy with that. They didn't want to get up and speak before the class. And so I made the comment, I said, regardless of what field you go into or what kind of job, that's a very important skill to be able to talk to a group of people. And he appreciated that. And he said, yeah, listen to someone who's experienced, blah, blah, blah. So, I think we're good role models. I mean, here we are, we're the age of their grandparents, and we're still trying to learn.
So you have Rick and Susan.
Yes, I just wanted to say that my experience has been particularly with new adjunct professors, they don't really understand auditing. So as soon as I'm enrolled in a class, if it's a physical class in the olden days, I'd go down and introduce myself and sort of explain what I'm there for. But at this time, when it's a virtual class, I sent an email to the professor saying how excited I was and really appreciated the opportunity, but also told them I was not going to be turning in any assignments or any in-class work. So to go ahead and take me off of the grade pool, because I didn't want to lower the class average with a lot of zeros. And he really appreciated that.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing with the this semester. I mean, this is the first semester I audited 2 classes since, I didn't have to drive to campus. And same thing, I introduced myself and, said why I wanted to take the class and all that. So
the reason I was had my hand up was the question that Joyce asked about etiquette, so I don't need to ask that. But several people have asked about campus-wide identification numbers. It's certainly true that you can get it by contacting the office, as was said. But if you happen to have saved the purple sheet that many, many of you have gotten over the ages while registering at OLLI, the campus-wide ID is right at the top of the purple sheet.
I just type mine on my phone, in my contact list. I have a, either Cal State Fullerton or OLLI, I don't recall, and I put it in there because your campus-wide ID is yours for as long as you're in OLLI. It doesn't change year to year.
Actually, even when you're not at OLLI, it's still going to be with you at Cal State Fullerton. I put up on the chat list a notation for getting technical help from the OLLI Open Labs on Fridays from 1 to 3. Some of the things like, if you don't have your CWID, as long as you have your username and password for campus, you'll be able to access your portal and the Titanium and Canvas. So that's all you really need. And you could get help to do that from people in the help lab.
when you get your CWID, you'll also get a temporary password. And you need that. And then you'll have the opportunity to change your CWID to a name. You have to keep the number, but you can put in a name that you can use and a regular password that you can use for logging into the system. The last semester, I had a professor who did everything by email, and you can reach it through Titanium, but actually it's faster when you're on the first screen after you've logged in to just go to the email button and click on that. If you want to mail back, everything on the campus is now done through Microsoft Mail, and you have to adapt to that. The other thing I was going to say was, I try to do everything that the students do. I don't always succeed, but I do my best. And for me, that's a way to get more out of the class. Some of you have a great attention span. I zone out. So I need to do that kind of thing.
And Lou is our example of how many classes have you audited in Japanese?
You know, I could say 17 times, but what happened is I repeated them a number of times. They were all upper division classes. That's why I joined OLLI, as a matter of fact. I'd done the lower division at a community college, and this was an opportunity for free to be able to go and get these classes.
You know, for classes that are skill-based, like languages, etc., you got to do the work, otherwise you're not going to progress.
I mean, teach the classes too. Several of them, the professor said, you know, they actually wanted me to write something. They said, you know, if you write something, I'll read it, I'll grade it, but I never did.
Yeah, when you were searching for classes, you only put in the Fullerton location, the campus. Are there other courses at the other locations, and can we audit those classes also?
Yeah. Yes.
I guess so. I mean, I've never tried, but yeah, actually, you're true. Right now during COVID, right? Everything's Zoom. Why not?
Yeah. You can. There are classes at Irvine and in Garden Grove that you can also, I think, audit as long as they're through Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they wouldn't be in the catalog, right? Unless you could.
They're in the schedule of classes as to where they're located.
Scheduled classes, yeah.
Well, I want to thank Betty. You did a great job. I really appreciate having this resource for those of you who are interested in auditing. And I do hope you take advantage of this benefit for OLLI membership, because it does augment what you have available to you.
It's I think Lou said, I mean, you know, we're not paying anything for it, really. And it is a really great benefit.
Yeah. But do represent OLLI well. and be great with the students. I've audited classes, art classes, decades ago when I first joined OLLI, and it was great because you got to interact with the students. So that was really a nice thing, a good intergenerational opportunity for all of us.
I don't really interact with the students in the history classes, but the TAP class, you know, there's 30 19-year-olds in there, and they're great, and they talk to us, and you know, very polite and everything. We have a great time with them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, well,
okay.
I think that's it.
Great.